we get some of those fawaid or masalih ruhaniyah, those spiritual benefits through the very physical process of an intellectual process of attaining ilm. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. Ameen ya Rabb. Okay, now to move on in terms of our Nahwu. I see we only have like 10 minutes left. 10 minutes, I'm not sure. 10 minutes. So this is the easy concept, so I thought I'll go over this. Right? The verse that we're busy with is still that very allegorical verse, and it's going to take us longer than that. So we'll move on to our next concept in Nahwu. I think Sister Nasreen sent you the books. She sent you book 1 and book 2 of this Navigating the Arabic Text on the WhatsApp group. So yes, she sent it this morning. So we are on page number 82 of the first book. Right? In the last lesson, we looked at the conjunct atf, the ma'tuf, and the ma'tuf alayhi. I did say I'm going to give you a summary of it. I will, inshallah, in the future. But you have the notes with you for now. The next concept we're looking at is Badal. Badal, what Manata translated here as apposition. What is it? It's not when you are describing something. It's not when you are addending something to a list. But when you are referring to the same thing in another way. Sometimes we just translate it more simply as a substitute. A substitute, right? It is not when you are describing something. It's not when you are addending something to a list. It's when you are referring to something already mentioned in a different way. Right? So what we have here? Well, we already know that this falls under in our list, falls under the tawabi'. That's on page number 75. It falls under the tawabi', the indirect causes for a hal. So what do you think? I can't ask you what hal is the badal in. All that you have to tell me is it's in the same hal as the word that it is a substitute for. And then you'd have to be able to identify the hal of that word. So it doesn't directly give a word raf, nasb, or jar, but it forces the word to have the same hal as the word that it is following. That's why we call it an indirect cause for i'rab. So we have here the badal. Right. So what Manata goes on to show is that when you have a mawsuf sifa, you can never remove the lead word. If you look at a mawsuf sifa, you have the mawsuf, which is the subject, of that phrase that's being described, and then you have the description. Right? Now, if you remove the description, the sentence still makes sense. But if you remove the sifa, the sentence still makes sense. If you remove the mawsuf, the sentence won't make sense. However, with the badal, you can remove either of the two, because the one is a complete substitute for the other. You can remove the badal, or you can remove the thing that it is replacing, or it is a substitute for. The sentence will still make sense. So that's how it differs, how a badal differs from a sifa. Because you may ask, well, I don't see the difference. I give you an example of a badal. My name is Zakariyya, and I can also be referred to as Ibnu Hidayatillah. Because my father's name is Hidayatullah. So you might think to yourself, I don't see the description because I don't see the difference because the son of Hidayatullah is a description of who you are. However, what differentiates it from a mawsuf and sifa is that if you say if you, for example, say Zakariyya did this, or Zakariyya helped the boy, Nasara Zakariyya al-walada, it has a complete meaning. If I say Nasara ibnu Hidayatillah al-walada, it still makes complete sense. The son of Hidayatullah helped the boy. If I say Nasara Zakariyya ibnu Hidayatillah al-walada, still makes complete sense. Zakariyya, the son of Hidayatullah, helped the boy. But let's take a description. Let's say a medium height person, okay. Let's say the medium sized boy or the short boy helped his friend. Right? So I'll say Nasara al-waladul qasiru al-sadiqahu. Makes sense, right? The short boy helped his friend. If I take away the sifa, will it still make sense? Nasara al-waladu sadiqahu still makes sense. But what about if I take away the mawsuf? Nasara al-qasiru sadiqahu. It doesn't convey the complete meaning. Right? So, you may still be able to make a sentence that makes sense, but it doesn't convey the same complete meaning. So the difference is that the badal is a substitute. You can remove the badal, or you can remove the thing that it is a substitute for. The sentence will still convey the same complete meaning. Okay. So what are the parts of it here? Let's look at some examples of this. The parts of this here that we have is, we have the badal and the mubdal minhu. Just above the gray box, you will find it there. Well, he gives an example, and then he says the follower word is called the badal, or substitute, while the lead word is known as the mubdal minhu. The substitute and the substituted. So let's look at the example that Mawlana gave over there. جاء علي المدرس. Ali, the teacher, came. Ali, the teacher, came. Let's look at the word where we take away the lead word. جاء علي المدرس. Sorry, جاء المدرس. The teacher came. Still conveys the same complete meaning. If I had to take away al-mudarrisu, جاء علي, it would still convey the same complete meaning. So there we have the different parts, the badal and the mubdal minhu. So What is the mubdal minhu? The word that is substituted. And the badal is the substitute for that word. So what do we know about this here? The simple rule is the badal must have the same hal like the mubdal minhu. That's it. The badal must have the same hal like the mubdal minhu. Now we have some points here just in terms of differentiating it from a sifa. What is it? Firstly, like the mawsuf sifa, the badal mubdal minhu has a lead word and a follow word. There's the first word and then the word that follows it. But unlike the mawsuf sifa, the mubdal minhu, if you remove the mubdal minhu, you will still have a complete sentence. It does not lead to an unfinished sentence. The badal is independent enough to complete the sentence on its own. Right? And so that means, like in a mawsuf sifa, you cannot remove the mawsuf. It will leave you with an unfinished sentence. But if you remove the mubdal minhu, it will not leave you with an unfinished sentence. And like the mawsuf sifa, the mubdal minhu, or the badal rather, has the same hal like the mubdal minhu. So mawsuf sifa and a badal and mubdal minhu are very similar. The only difference is that in a badal mubdal minhu, you can do without either of them. Right. Then one more thing to add. There are different types of badal. Right? There are different types of badal. There's 3 types of badal, but I'm only going to look for now, because our time is tight, at 2. The first 2 is a full badal, and the second one is a partial badal, or badal, badalul kull and badalul ba'd. Badalul kull, a substitute for the whole, and badalul ba'd, substitute for a part. So what do you think? I don't want to read the whole thing. What do you think badalul kull will be? The previous example, right? You had Ali and the teacher. The teacher is a complete replacement for Ali. Right? It's a complete replacement for Ali. But what if I say, as the Quran says, على الملكين هاروت وماروت. Malakain, the Quran says, Malakaini bibabila, this comes in the middle, and then Haruta wa Marut. If I look at that word Harut, is it a substitute for Malakain? Malakain means what? 2 angels. So you need both, right? The names of the Malakain is Harut and Marut. If I just look at the one name Harut, is it a badal for the word Malakain? No. It's not a complete badal. It is a partial badal. It is a partial badal. What about Marut? It's also partial. But yeah, we're not going to call it a partial badal, we'll call it ma'atuf. Harut wa Marut. So I want us to look at these 3 sentences that Mullah put over here. جاء زيد أخو صالح. جاء زيد أخو صالح. جاء زيد. Zaid came. Who is Zaid? أخو صالح. Zaid, the brother of Salih, came. Now let's look at the next one. So, أخو صالح is a complete badal for Zaid, isn't it? Right. Let's look at the next one. رأيت زيدا رأسه. رأيت زيدا رأسه. I saw Zaid, his head. What does that indicate to you? And only that badal there, رأسه, is only a part of Zaid. It's not the whole of Zaid. And therefore, that is a badal ba'd, part of him. Right. The third sentence is something else. Badal ishtimal. But we'll look at that in our next lesson, inshallah. Yes? You tell me. Yeah. You tell me. Akhu is one of those. It's one of those 5 words. Remember, abun, akhun, hamun, dhu, famun. Where the haraka at the end doesn't change, the whole ending changes. When it's mudaf. Abu, aba, abi. Akhu, akha, akhi. Hamu, hama, hami. Fu, fa, fi. Yeah. Famun changes to, when it becomes mudaf, it becomes fu. Fa when it's in nasb, and fi when it's in jar. Dhu, dha, the. There's a hadith where Rasulullah says that the best morsel that the person can give in sadaqah is the one that he puts fi imra'ati. Fi, the one is e, the one is ba. The one that he puts fi into fi imra'ati, the mouth of his wife. You first have to get a wife before you can do the charity. I'm just teasing this guy. That's it. Anyways, we will continue with this. We'll continue with Badal next week, inshallah. We have a bit more time. We'll continue with Badal. Look at the Badal Kul, Badal Ba'd, and the Badal Ishtimal. What you can revise for homework is just the concept of Badal. Badal, Mubdal Minhu. Badal must be in the same hal like the Mubdal Minhu, same like Mawsusifa. But the difference is that with the Badal and Mubdal Minhu, I can remove either of the two. With the Mawsuf Sifa, I cannot remove the Mawsuf. Right? We're in there for now. وجزاكم الله خيرا وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.